Okay guys, well it's Tuesday. My wife has another dentist appointment today, so I got to take her to the dentist. They're calling for rain, snow, and sunshine, so take your pick. Right now we're getting snow flurries, but the ground is, 39 degrees, so it's thawing here pretty good. But we still have a lot of snow. I don't get this weather. It's supposed to snow Friday, I don't know. Anyway, I gotta run the dog quick and get him back to the house, and then I gotta go into town with my wife. Hey guys, I'm waiting for my wife to come out of the dental office, and I just wanted to show you. If you look up in the woods here, you can see there's no real snow anywhere around here, like in that fields up there and stuff. Now there is snow, where they plowed a driveway or whatever, but not really too much left in town. And the funny part about this is we're only, this is about 12 miles from here to home, I would say. And you can see it's, the snow is pretty much gone. It's beautiful day. It must be around 55 degrees right now. Because I was standing outside all the time she's inside there. I don't like sitting in the office, and I don't like sitting in the car, so I was just walking around a little bit here. But I'm just saying that's the difference in the snow between here and roughly 2,000 feet higher than here. Well guys, you can see the difference between where we live on the top of the hill right there and the difference between in town. I mean, there's plenty of snow everywhere, and we're not even 12 miles. I don't think it was 12 miles from there to here, but it's just higher. Hey guys, so the other day I'd gotten a question about something that has to do with siding. I just want to go over some of this. Now, this wood, this is the pile that's outside. If you look at that, you can see there's 12% moisture content, and that's on a 2x. 13% is shown on a piece of 1x. I would imagine where it's wet here, yeah, 26%. That's because you're hitting, I'm getting water on there. But originally when this wood was put here, it was 40%, okay? So this has dried to what I will call the environment around it. Okay, so in other words, where there's no water, you're looking at 12%. Where there's water, you're looking at twice that. The wood, this is white pine. White pine doesn't, all wood rots with water, but as you dry it, it becomes hard and stable. And as long as it's not being worn by the weather really bad and the moisture, it'll hold up. Like this is going to be fine for me to build a garage out of. So that's not the real question. I just wanted to check and see what it was, though, at one of the spots where I have wood. What I want to check is this siding that I cut, the bevel siding that I cut last year. One of the guys from Texas there asked me about this a couple of weeks ago, and I can't remember everything that I want to remember, so I started writing stuff on a notebook. But anyway, so this is the siding, and you can see that's at 11%, so it's not even the 19% that the weather is outside. Normally wood in Pennsylvania has about a 19% moisture content. Now naturally, look at how nice this dried up. That has a lot to do with what the weather's doing at the moment, but I want to see what the inside of this is like then. Well, let me just, I'm just trying to get the tarp to stay open so we can see what we got here. So that's 13%, and that's on the inside of the siding. Now that siding is only a half an inch thick. 13%. That's about 13 or 12%. So the inside of the siding that you're seeing there, anywhere from, like, let's say 10 to 15%. Now I haven't seen a 15, I'm just saying. Let's see what this thing says. 13%. So to me, what that means is that at the moment, even with all this snow and moisture, let me see what the moisture content is in here. Oh boy, this is high. It's 60, 50, 60, I think 70%. That's 70% moisture content. That's inside the kiln, so you know it's not that high outside, or it's higher outside. But my point is that the lumber on the inside, this has been out here now for 2 years, but it's not in direct moisture. It's around 13%. Let's say 10 to 15%. That's the actual range that it is. So, I mean, it's not really that bad when you think about it. It's just that, you know, with all the snow and everything, that's the moisture that we have in the basic area here. So the siding was nailed up onto the outside here when it was wet. In other words, I did not put this siding that's out here, I did not put this siding onto or into the kiln. All this did was sit until I was ready to build with it. You can see it's 13 on the outside as well. So that's, you know, telling you the story of what it actually is, which is amazing to me. But, and that's a good 13% is good to keep like the seams the same distance apart. You can see that it's not buckling even though there's a seam like right in front of you. I think it's right there. You can see the seams are nice and tight yet. Same thing with the edges where they go against the 1x. So, you know, and I can't say that it's going to be like this everywhere because the moisture content in different places is different. But to answer the question, this stuff was put up wet. It was left to dry for about a week. I think I left it dry and then I stained it right away. And seems to be holding up pretty good. Now you can see some knots coming through here, but this is a semi-transparent. It's not a solid wood stain, so that's why you're seeing that. So anyway, I think that answers your question on you know, how the siding was holding up. I actually like this bevel siding. It's quick to put up. You don't have to have a lot of fancy tools with it. Just a saw and nails, and it goes fast. And guys nail it up different ways. It all depends on what you like. I never like seeing the nail heads, so I always nail it so the nail heads are hidden. That's not necessarily the best way to do it, but that's how I like to do it. What I'm going to do, guys, is we just got back from the dentist. It's getting late in the afternoon. So I'm going to take him out with for a walk quick. And I'm going to go and do the testing over at the neighbor's where I put that bevel siding. I'm just checking to see if I have the tester with me. Okay, so that's what we're going now. Okay guys, so this siding that's on this house, a friend of mine put this on here for the old guy. And what I want to show you is that's north, okay, the sky. This is south, and then west and east. And all we have is this white cloud out today. And we've had this a lot this winter, but what I'm after here is to see what the story is with this, the wood, or I mean the water in the wood yet. So when I cut this for him, it sat about a month, and then they nailed it up. It sat in the sun. It wasn't in the kiln. So I'm going to get my tool out here and I'll check this and show you what that is. Okay, so let me back up here. All right, so this is the siding. Now, you can see that this siding is a lot of different colors because there's water hanging onto it and stuff. And I wouldn't have done that. I would have stained this. But here's what I want to show you. That's about 11% there. 10 or 11%. Now underneath the window here, a little drier. I'll check it over here further. Around 11%. So if you remember, now I had said that that's south. So south, that means the front of this place gets a heat and light hitting it all day long. So my point here is that if you have the building facing directly south, even without stain on it, the moisture stays pretty low on it, and that's kind of amazing that it's that low. You know, everybody lives differently. I like taking care of what I have, and you got to remember this guy's up in his 80s, so he doesn't have anybody to help him with stuff. That's why I try to help him. Bullseye! So I'm going to just check what this is here. It doesn't matter how clean someone is or not. What matters here is we're trying to find out what the moisture content is of this stuff. Yeah, same thing, and that's from getting the direct sunlight. So anyway, now you can see how that siding holds up there. Now I will say that it's staying together as far as the joints and all go, and it's not pushing out too hard with the moisture content at what it is there. Man, oh man, he needs to get some help to clean up. I just can't do all this stuff. Anyway, I'm just saying, you know, in the back of the house here, there's some plywood. Just for the heck of it, I want to just, or no, this isn't plywood, it's 1 by 12. Even that has more. That's stained, and that actually has more moisture in it than what the siding has in it that gets the sun all day. That doesn't get the sun all day. It gets the sun at night, towards the evening. So anyway, that'll give you a good idea of what this siding, the bevel siding, does, you know, over a year's time or 2 years' time. So this building here is about a mile away from me, and because it's the same area, it's roughly the same elevation and stuff, that's probably why the moisture is pretty close. Now this here, you got to remember, the back of that is not getting any water against it. So once it dries, you know, it has to put pretty much moisture in it to get it to come up, get the moisture content to come back up, but it can't come in the back, so it's not as high as what the sawmill shed that I have is. It's about 3 points lower. So, and if you would have stained that, I think it would have been a lot nicer, a lot better, but you know, he can't get to do it, and he doesn't want to pay somebody to do it or whatever, so that's just how things go. But anyway, the point is it's about the moisture content. So the moisture content is actually lower or near the same as what every other piece of wood is outside in this area, and right now it's around 13%. I think on a normal winter it would actually be lower, or I mean higher, because we have had a lot of dry weather. Just want to remind you of one other thing, and that's the leaves. Remember I said that the white oak are usually part of the last trees and the beech? What you're seeing here is there's no white oak leaves on any of the trees that I can see in the vicinity here. But what we're seeing here is beech. These leaves on here are beech, and you can see how they're starting to fall. There's a couple there. There's a couple right there's one. Here's a couple here, and it's the end of February until they're starting to leave. What's this one here? Looks like a maple. Yeah, that's a maple, I believe, which is unusual. But anyway, this is what happens with the beech. It takes it a while to get rid of it, of the leaves.